All right, so we're going to do this on the count of three. Ready? One, two, three. I love that opening. I think that's my favorite opening.
Ditto, it's hilarious. I love mochi.
I've never tried it, but I want to.
It's good.
I'm actually not a fan of mochi. I think it's a texture. Well, and then there's also mochi with ice cream inside.
Oof,
even
I
better.
love mochi ice cream.
I haven't had mochi ice cream, but I think I've had just like the mochi, and I wasn't a. It looks delicious though.
This is awesome. I love this.
Lily's face when she was like, "Oh, crafting, easy."
Sofia needs to just go away.
And tough. I'm just saying, he looks so much like Cole Sprout.
Who didn't like Dash going into this? Mandy, you didn't like Dash, and you weren't liking Dash for a while, and you only liked this because of Lily. How are you feeling about Dash now?
I think he's more tolerable.
Hunter coming up to let us know.
No, no, I just got free so I can join. I'm the opposite, Mandy. I like Dash and not Lily.
Ooh. Hot take.
I like them both. I love that. He looks
I
nice.
love that she made a Muppet.
I love it.
In the book, he actually sends her to like the Muppet making area. I think of like FAO Schwartz that used to exist.
Yes, I just read that part.
I love this.
I actually thought about opening up a break room here in town.
You should, Mandy.
I did not know this was like a real thing.
Oh yeah, this is a real
Yeah,
thing.
it's a real thing, and it's a
I
big business too.
I actually I actually a few years ago, because the area of town that Babsy and I live in, there are like a lot of little warehouse district kind of close by, and I when we first moved here, I was actually like, we should open up a break room business.
I've been to one and it's so much fun. We went twice, once this year and like beginning of last year before COVID hit. It's so
It sounds like it would be amazing.
Yeah, you just freaking rip things apart, break them, smash televisions.
Yeah,
Like
and
they
just
just
go
bring
to
in.
the thrift store to get all of those things. There you go.
yeah, ours had a car in it, so you could just smash the car. It was fun.
Chris is missing
I
what he
feel
told Dash.
I feel like people needed this in 2020 for sure.
She didn't do it. She failed.
I love that Muppet so much.
And the fact that she's carrying the Muppet around still. Love it.
They also did really good casting with like the little boy version and the adult version of this kid.
I know, he looks so much the same. I wonder if they're related in real life.
This
That
sounds a
is
little stalkery.
stalkery.
Yeah.
They are in Washington Square Park. I can tell from the buildings.
Yeah, I totally.
Like actual Washington Square Park?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely
Yeah.
Washington Square Park.
Nice.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
there's a
I
really
kind of got the sense that this is all location. Like everything is New York location.
yeah. Well, there's a nice dog run there that that's what she just came out of.
This stalker is really starting to grind my gears.
It's weird.
Same.
And he has a serial killer smile.
Come
He
on, guys.
kind of
Totally
does.
Look,
does.
be open. You don't
The
know where this could go.
stalker?
Just be open. This,
Are we
th-
about to see one of Lee's background murders?
I feel like this is like an a spin-off of You.
I haven't seen you.
Yes.
Great show.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. There's a series of books too.
hey, he still has the armband.
Well, that's sweet, but I still hate him. And why is he wearing a lumberjack hat? That's a stupid hat.
Well, then why
Well,
did he
that
make that
I
big
love
show
that.
as a
Well, that's
kid of?
sweet, but I still hate him.
Yeah, like why did he make that big show as a kid of like dropping it in front of all of his friends? If he still has it, then you jerk.
You don't. I
Because he
don't
was
think
in
he did.
middle
I don't think
school.
we
Embarrassed.
did see him drop it. I just think that we saw a bunch of them dropped.
No, they
I
just
would
showed
have
it.
told
They
him
showed him
he was
dropping it.
so weird for wearing that hat.
He had to
They,
look cool. He probably picked it back up and put it in his pocket when his friends left.
that's worse.
Kids are stupid sometimes.
How old is Dash that he's got like a
17.
he's got like some cognac or bourbon or whatever.
It's at his dad's apartment.
I can't with what he is wearing right now. Like, I just can't. He's wearing tennis shoes and shorts and a robe. Like, what's going on here? What is
It's
this?
socks, not tennis shoes.
Either way, it's no.
It's a kid trying to be an adult
I
with
was
his
just gonna
friends.
say
Yeah.
it is really like a kid trying to be an adult.
But can we say that his dad's girlfriend is more appropriately aged for Dash than for his father?
Yeah, that's the point. That's sort of the idea.
The actor who plays his dad was in the original cast of Dear Evan Hansen. He might have been
I
nominated for
love
Tony
Dear
but
Evan
won it.
Hansen.
He's
He's in you
incredible.
too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's Beck's dad.
The dad didn't even stop when he was like, no, 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 no. The dad didn't even say like, oh,
Yeah.
what? Was I not supposed to eat that? He just popped it in and
It could
walked
have been
away.
poisoned. You know, if he used a pencil instead of pen, he wouldn't have to keep ripping the pages out.
Yeah,
I
but then
think
it
he
wouldn't
told
be
her.
so fun and dramatic of the page having to be ripped out. I really enjoy his angst.
So remember we were talking about, are they ever going to actually meet?
She might be in Fiji.
Just saying, things have gotten a little more interesting.
If they don't, I will love this.
Hunter, you crack me up.
Hunter, that is a cold, icy heart.
I'm just
Where
saying, be
is your
realistic.
sense?
It's the heart of a
Where's your
realist.
sense of romance?
Thank you, Diana.
No, I'm asking, where's your sense of romance? Like,
No,
they have to meet.
In stories where they actually aren't for real.
My question to everybody, though, is it possible that Dash thinks that Lily could be Priya? because she seems to show up in interesting spots.
She's supposed to be a teenager?
This
Yep,
looks
that's his
like
ex-girlfriend.
that's not a good idea. Inviting your ex that you're
Yeah,
still in love
no.
with.
Ew. She reminds me of Selma Hayek.
I'm seriously about to punch this dad in the face.
Do it.
Well, that tells me that you're liking Dash a lot more than just he's tolerable.
His mochi's in his dad's stomach, so he can't listen to it right now.
Okay, I'm back. What's the timestamp? Anybody?
There's only like 10.5 minutes left.
16.5 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah, 16.
Sorry, I had to actually. At the dinner.
Yeah.
Hunter's starting to like Dash, I can tell.
Oh, I've always liked Dash. I didn't like Lily.
Okay, you're starting to like the series then.
Chris couldn't find any option, right?
Charlie, Amanda and Hunter want to kill the father. That's where we're at in this episode.
I mean, same. So there's.
Oh, I agree with that.
Like 1,000 times agree with that statement. Honestly, this is probably my favorite scene in the entire series.
Harvest is open, and I just had a bountiful harvest.
Oh, nice. What was your harvest? What was your base rate?
Oh, I don't know. But I only have an all events boost locked in, but I got just shy of 52.
Oh, yeah, that's big.
Oh, yes. She's gonna beat up the
I love
student.
the way
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that is
knocked
good.
its nose
break it.
off.
Break it, girl. Yes.
Okay,
When
see, this is the first time I've liked her. Go
I
crazy.
love I love how she just slapped the nose off, which is something I do frequently when I get frustrated with my husband. I'll just like push over something in his room like a cat. Just knock over one of his stupid little Star Wars figurines.
Not just one snowman, Hunter. She did like 3 of them.
That was amazing.
Are we about to get a Maisel moment?
Not after Fiji.
Edgar looks a little confused.
Edgar's face looks like he's always confused.
Edgar is definitely 35 in real life.
Yeah, right?
At minimum, like 27, 28.
Go, Lily.
Come on, this is an awesome little moment.
I love this moment. It's so.
Boom.
No.
Hunter's like, no, thank you, sir.
I mean, he can, like, he was like, I was only 12, and he applauded this. Cool, but you don't have to go out with a person who, like, had that much power over you and affected your life that much. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to, but she wants to.
Poor kid.
She's trying new things.
He doesn't seem to be the sharpest tool in the shed. This guy.
At all.
But I think that's why I sort of forgive him. I mean, it's very possible that that's really where we're heading. I mean, is the love story between Dash and Sofia and Edgar and Lily.
Harvest, everyone.
No.
Oh,
She looks so much like Selma Hayek.
now remember, they've never met.
This guy. I want him and Sophia to get together.
I'm sorry, I don't like Priya.
Why are you sorry about that? I don't like Priya either.
Go with, go with the flow, Dash. Come on, look at these two.
No, I
No,
don't like that part.
I didn't realize that Fred Savage directed that. Did he
Yeah,
direct all of them?
he's directed, I think, most of them, if not
Oh,
all
that's
of them.
I think he's done all of them, and he isn't he a
Yeah,
producer as well?
yeah, he's a producer. Also, Jonas Brothers or Nick Jonas is a producer. So it's I think it's his production company. Um, although there might be a little more on that front. Um, uh, what everyone think? Nikki, Hunter, Mandy.
I don't know. I don't.
Hunter's coming around. She can't admit it yet,
No,
John.
I would totally admit it. I really like the scene where Lily finally showed an emotion other than the overt perkiness, and she went crazy and killed the snowman. Yes,
Yes,
that's great.
yes,
I wanted.
yes. I mean, that's this is the right spot in the story for that kind of thing to happen. So I
Honestly,
think
I
it,
need to rewatch it before I can pass commenting.
You know what
fair
I
enough.
think it is? I feel like it's rushed. Like this is only
Really?
one season, right? Yeah, it's only one season. I think I'd like it more if it were more detailed and stuff and it were like two seasons maybe because me personally I feel like it's
I
I
think what
mean,
I'm struggling with is I can believe Lily as a high schooler, but I just can't put Dash as a high schooler. It
yeah,
feels
he
disjointed to
definitely
me.
doesn't feel like a high schooler. But I actually like kind of buy this idea of like sort of adult aspirational. Like been he's been so alone for so long that and he he's sort of his father's world is this sort of like high end modern style that I feel like it makes sense to me that like I feel like I knew some high school kids that like kind of adult like they kind of dressed adult, like
Well, not just that, but he's supposed to be a senior. He dated a girl who's from another country where maybe she was given more independence at a young age, so she's more independent and adult-like than maybe some of the other kids her age.
Well, he's
And
also
he's
wealthy,
left alone a
so
lot.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
wealthy. Like Diana, would you say that this tracks like that like there are dashes in New York City that come from like his his family's status, it seems, and
Yeah,
that are in their like senior year of high school, but like dress like they're like they're in their like early 30s or
yeah. I
something.
mean, there's definitely so much. I feel these characters are so real because you have Lily, who is very much tied to her family and her parents, and I'm not allowed to do that. And like very much like she gets grounded and like listens, whereas Dash it has zero supervision and he's treated like almost an adult by his parents that don't really like that he doesn't really need to be taken care of while she like actually gets grounded, you know what I mean? So like
Totally.
it's those two things absolutely exist, and like I was a Lily for sure, and I knew a lot of kids who were Dashes, and I didn't even grow up in the city. I grew up in the boroughs where it's a little different, but like definitely, I mean, when I'm sitting on the subway, I see kids like Dash all the time. And like I see very young kids who are by themselves because they have to go to school and they take public transportation to school when they're 16, 17, 18, and it's very normal. So I really do believe that these characters are so rooted in reality, like more so than some other shows. Like they just are very, very solid archetypes.
I mean, I would have liked.
Well,
I think I certainly
the actors themselves clearly are older than that age. That and that's just a matter of like they just did what Hollywood always does, which is cast actors that are older than the age for reasons that have to do with the older the actor is, the more experience and typically the better actor they are.
Yeah, I
Older
just
laws,
looked
all
it
that
up
kind of stuff.
and the guy who plays Dash, Austin Abrams, is 25.
He's
We're
25
not in.
right now.
Yes.
Oh, so then when he shot this, he was probably like 22, because this, they probably shot it. It came out last year. They probably shot it the year before. So he might have been like 22, 23. So that's not that much further from like 17, 18 that he was supposed to be playing. Um, I will also say that scene in the restaurant with him and his dad, he really transforms into a boy in that scene. Like the way he's talking to his father, the way his father is sort of domineering over him, suddenly really like just made him so much smaller and so much younger all of a sudden. I don't know if that was just if anybody else picked up on that, but that was definitely something that I was feeling
No,
in
I
that scene.
I totally did.
Like he was kind of
Because I just
stuttering, his
yeah.
shoulders kind of came up a little bit. He really seemed like a little boy.
I was gonna say, doesn't Lily also go to an all-girls school where Dash goes to probably a public or a private boys and girls school? So the experiences and stuff will be different between them, where she's got a little bit more innocence to her. She hasn't dated anybody and all that stuff, and he has dated this girl at least for a year and all that kind of stuff. So
Well,
he's gonna
I
see
I
more.
do remember the all girls school comment, but wouldn't that mean that it is private?
Well, sure, but I mean, I just mean like her experience level on things and dealing with boys is going to be a lot different if she switched to an all girls schools after her junior high experience. That's so it would make sense that she would seem a little more like a teenager than maybe he would at this point too. Plus, somebody said she's a junior where he's a senior, which would really kind of indicate almost a 1 year difference in things as well. So, a lot can happen.
None of this is making me root for the relationship.
You're not rooting for what relationship?
Dash and Lily.
Really?
No.
Um, so you're on board with what I think this is the clear direction here, which is Dash and Sophia,
I
and
mean,
and and
yeah.
Lily and Edgar.
I'd be okay with them just being pen pals by the end of it.
This is my opinion about Dash and Sophia. Dash invited Sophia because she's in the past always helped him get through dinners with his father. However, in this particular dinner, it was Lily's words that helped him get through it. So that
Ayo.
indicates that he's
Right.
over Sophia.
Totally.
He's moving on.
Totally. It was like that's exactly what that moment was about. Was that this was the first dinner, and it was also, it seemed like it was actually a breakthrough moment, that what Sophia always did was she always helped pass the time. She always like kind of helped deflect all of that. But this moment actually allowed him to sort of have this moment where he kind of broke through to his dad, which is very different and much more powerful. And Lily was able to do that without even being there.
Good observation, man.
Absolutely. I also just really hate Dash's father and people like Dash's father.
Wait, who likes Dash's father?
No one.
Didn't Hunter say
Well,
she
I
liked
hope no
Dash's
one.
father?
No.
No,
Ew.
I'm just saying
Just kidding.
I just really like I don't think that I can say it enough how much I hate him.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
said people liked him. I was just
No,
confused.
No, I said
no,
I also
no
just
one
really
likes him.
hate him.
Yeah. No, not the
No,
mochi eater. No.
no, he doesn't.
And
You don't,
also, can I
you
Mochi
don't
just
eat a
eater.
say if
person. You
it,
don't eat a person's mochi and just walk away. Like
well,
you just
can I
don't do
just
that.
say if I'm about to eat something and somebody is yelling at me, no, 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 I'm gonna for sure assume that it's poisoned and not put it in my mouth
or that
because that is
right,
the normal thing to do.
or that it's filled with wasabi.
Yeah, like there's something wrong with it. People usually don't just scream, no, 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 when you're about to eat something unless there's something wrong with it.
Not to mention, like, it was in the fridge.
Or
He
it's for
came home
someone
and it was
else.
like a very nice box. Like, it was all pretty. It had the little bones, and he just opens it and pops it in his mouth.
Could have been
Yeah,
sitting
he's a
in there
rude
for a
guy.
while. Like, I'm just saying, gross.
Yeah, well, he's a rude individual.
He's an
Entitled.
entitled asshole.
Yeah,
But
he's an
look at the
entitled.
bright side. He would be an easy target to poison. Not that I am saying that anybody should. I'm just saying.
Let's remember, we're recording this, Amanda. Don't put anything incriminating on.
Mochi's a dessert, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
dessert that's usually it's like I want to say it's like a rice. It's made out of like a rice starch like outer
Yeah,
coating, and
it's a rice
inside
based
is a
stuff.
bean is a bean paste that is
Mhm.
made with like a sweet bean, a sweet red bean. So it's a dessert because it's sweet, but
Isn't it
uh
isn't it usually served on a skewer with like more than one?
no, not
No,
no.
no.
It's usually served like almost like a bonbon, kind of like just
Yeah,
a little on a plate, you know. But Steph was actually mentioning they do also have sometimes you'll find mochi ice cream,
yeah.
and that's basically just that same mochi rice starch exterior, and inside rather than the bean paste is just actual ice cream. And it's usually like a green tea ice cream or something that's Japanese and in style.
And and and
But
it,
it's
They
it's
also,
and it's not sweet. Japanese desserts are like
yeah, they
non-sweet,
are a
which I
lot
like.
less sweet.
yeah. Well, I find bean paste to be sweet.
Yeah,
I
they don't always have bean paste though. I have had peanut butter mochi before, which I did not like. It made the texture even harder to deal with. But yeah, I've seen other things, other flavors
Yeah,
of mochi.
peanut
It's
butter
not.
mochi sounds like a chore to eat.
Yeah, it was not easy. I will say that I do not
The
recommend.
amount of chewing that you will be doing with a mochi, with a peanut butter mochi, sounds
Yeah,
just dreadful.
it was not easy.
I know a lot of Asian, because I am part Asian, I'm Vietnamese. A lot of their desserts have some kind of bean in it, like a yellow bean or a red bean or some kind of sweet bean.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
there's a lot
red
of
red
sweet
bean's
beans that are
delicious.
used. Yeah, red
Yeah.
bean is great. Yeah, the yeah, bean they're those sweet bean varieties are used in a lot of Asian desserts. I love mochi. I love the texture, and I think that they're really fun. I loved the opening of this. I just loved starting off making mochi.
That was hilarious. Him talking to them, and they're just staring at
And then the
him. No one
grandmother,
answered.
and then one of the grandmothers throws his in the trash.
That was
Asian cooking's not easy.
Has anybody here tried to do sushi themselves?
yeah. We
Yes,
do. We do once a
we
week.
have.
Whoa, once a week. Wow,
Yeah,
that would mean that you would be very good at it then.
we've gotten good at it because I think I mentioned my daughter, like, she's going to be a Japanese interpreter, and once we're going to go over there for a trip and everything. So
Oh,
we've, as a
fun.
family, made it a task to learn how to make sushi. So we do it once a week.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
that's
That's really cool.
amazing.
Yeah, we've done it before. It was not as easy. Like we watched a ton of YouTube videos because we knew it was going to be difficult, but We just didn't realize how difficult it was. Everything tasted good, but it was just difficult to
They
Yeah,
just
I think.
don't look
make
pretty,
look
and they
pretty.
turn out way too big because you
Yeah.
can't get
Yeah,
them
Hunter,
really
Well,
you
quick.
it was
yeah.
hard.
well,
Hunter,
the start. I mean, like you first got to start with making sure that you've got really good, super fresh
Oh
fish.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like part one of the
Yeah,
difficulty.
we
Like you can't just
watched
go to like
lots of
Publix and pick up like
yeah,
salmon from Publix.
we watched lots of videos that explained like where to go to get the best fish and all of that sort of stuff. Like we did our research on it. I will say though that it was a lot more expensive making it at home than just buying it.
Hunter, I have a
Yeah.
question for you. Do you have the bamboo wraps things to
Yeah,
put the rice in? Yeah,
yep,
because that
we have
makes
all
it a
that.
lot easier and makes.
It really does.
All
But yeah, you have to put saran wrap on it, the whole thing, so it doesn't get sticky. It's
and also that knife. I mean, like you can't just use like your own typical knife for this. Like the knives that like sushi chefs have are like long and like razor sharp. I mean, you slide those things over the fish and they just slice it perfectly with zero pressure whatsoever.
yeah, I will if you are interested in doing that stuff. I don't know, like because John, you mentioned Publix, like they have the sushi makers here at Publix, whatever. We went to them in the morning when they're doing it, um, and talked to them about like how to do it, and then the guy was like, "Hey, just because our Publix, we have the 2-story one, the big one where they have the cooking classes at the top." So they were holding like the sushi making classes there. So we went there a whole bunch and did like the rice crash course and all that, and
Well,
learned how to do it from.
I just mentioned Publix because I used to live in Florida. I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't stepped foot in a Publix in like over 20
I
years.
love Publix so much.
And you gotta cook the rice just right too. It can't be too
Yeah,
sticky, too dry.
and also it's that vinegar and the I mean like there's a real like science to how that rice gets because if you do it wrong, like the rice is too sweet or it's too vinegary or it's too
Yeah,
salty.
if you have like good Asian markets where you live, you can actually go there and some of them sell sushi rice, so you can just buy the sushi rice because making it at
All
home is very
prepared,
difficult.
you mean like prepared already?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably do that. I did sushi. Babsy and I haven't done. I don't think we've done sushi, but I did sushi many years ago. And the hardest part, I remember, the hardest part was the rice, getting the rice right. Like the
For
fish, like
sure.
we have really great Asian markets around here. And we have, I mean, we have a little Tokyo, so you can get great fish there. And I have a really amazing high-end sushi knife that slices fish like it's butter. But the rice is difficult. I don't think that I got it right. Like it wasn't sticky enough, fell apart. Just really hard.
We went through lots and lots of incarnations of bad rice. Like it took forever for us to finally get the rice right to where we could move on to like worrying about the fish.
Like I think eventually we were just like, you know what? We're having sashimi. That's what we're doing. We're just gonna have sashimi, a plate of sashimi. Well, I'm really glad that it seems that at least some of us are invested in what's going on, at least want to know whether or not she's going to fall in love with Edgar, whether Sophia and Dash are truly meant for each other and destined to live happily ever after. Will she go to Fiji and continue her long distance correspondence with him? Will they become great friends who help each other out through this like kind of correspondence that they're doing? Will that kind of continue on into the later times of their life as they move on and find people? And find love during the Christmas season? All big questions.
Also, can I just say, who has job interviews in Fiji? Like, that sounded very
That
funny
doesn't
to
seem
me.
to that doesn't seem to make any sense the current like, I mean, because now like a job interview in Fiji would be over Zoom. You would do it in your house
Oh,
over
for
Zoom.
sure.
But
Unless
I
it's
mean, like
them visiting there to see do they actually want to
that
move there and do they want
that's
to
sort
live
of what I
there.
interpret. That's what I interpreted it as. I interpreted it as like there's a big job offer in Fiji. We don't really know what his dad does, but like, I could imagine there being plenty of things that like, that might attract them to Fiji. And they want to go see whether or not it's something, if it's a place that they could take the family, move there. Um, Look at houses. I mean, for no other reason like than just to kind of know whether or not there's a place, a neighborhood that you could even move into. Babsy and I have talked about moving, and like that's the biggest question mark is like, okay, how do we find time to like get out and like look at neighborhoods?
Diana, with the location of where they live and like the size of their apartment, like would they be considered an affluent family or?
Definitely Dash. Lily, it's hard to say because I feel like it's implied and it's definitely in the book that like the grandfather owned a business on the ground floor. So it's very possible that her family has owned the building for a very long time, which is definitely a thing that happens here. So, if the family built like bought that building, you know, I don't know, in the 70s or 80s when it was very very cheap, and she lives in like the West Village area, which like for at a certain time like that was super cheap. Like I have a friend who grew up on the Upper West Side, and her family bought the townhouse that she lives in, and they bought it for nothing, like literally nothing in today's dollars, and like they now own the whole building and like rent out a couple of floors of it, and different apartments. So I think it's very possible if that apartment has been in her family for generations, at least starting with her grandfather. Absolutely, it's totally possible. And I would say the size kind of makes sense for where they live, and if it is in fact a building that they own. Whereas like Dash seems like his dad makes a ton of money and has just a really nice apartment that he either rents or owns.
Well, I'm gonna head out, but thank you everyone for watching again. And I'm looking forward to episode 6 tomorrow to see where all of this is going. We've got a big Christmas party coming up where both it seems both Dash and Lily may end up going to. Well, well, well. Won't that be interesting? No.
You
Sure.
seem to be like really
Yes.
hyping up this next episode, John. I'm like now expecting big things, and if big things don't happen next episode, I'm not sure.
I think that next episode won't disappoint. I'll just say that much. Diana,
So
can
does
you
that,
can
does that
you
mean they're gonna
confirm?
meet?
I'm only just gonna say I love the next episode. I think it's really dynamic. It's really fun. It just there's a lot of like good drama. I think it's just
There's a
I
lot.
like it.
I'll just say this much. There's a lot of tension in the next episode.
Yeah. And like some really good outfits. I really love the clothes in the next
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
That's what John's in it for.
Always.
100%. And I think
Always.
I got a friend to join us tomorrow, so let's not scare her away.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it'll be really fun. She's a huge fan of the series.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be is going to be a Christmas tradition for me, this series. And my hope is that every year new people join. It's very exciting to watch this with people who haven't seen it.
I guess I'm coming back tomorrow.
Come on, Hunter.
Same.
Stop it, Hunter.
And
You
I
know
actually
you're
am gonna
loving this
rewatch
show.
today's episode before tomorrow.
I'm not loving it, but I am interested in seeing how it
You're
ends.
you're liking it very much. Not
I wouldn't say
loving
very
it.
much, but I'm liking it.
You're liking it. Okay, fair enough. I should have taken the Colonel bet on this particular series rather than on Maisel, but I still feel pretty confident by the end of season 4, you'll be like, yeah, all right,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I watched the first 3 episodes the other day, so
And
I can see why people like it. I'm watching.
oh my gosh, I'm going to win this.
Hunter, after I
Okay.
watched season 1 of Maisel, I had actually decided not to continue. I was kind of like not
Okay.
really feeling it. And then like there was a whole lot of hype because they were getting awards and I was like, okay, maybe I'll try season 2. And I'm so glad I did because after that, then I was like, okay, this show rocks.
Okay. Cause yeah, like I watched the first 3 episodes and I'm like me saying I know why I can see why other people liking it is not an endorsement on my part. But like I can see the appeal.
I just think that
And
once
I'm
we
willing
get
to continue.
I just believe that once we get to some of some of the deeper, more serial killer stuff that happens in season 2 and 3,
Oh
I
hell
just
yeah.
think it's gonna catch you.
Bring it on. Okay, see now I'm invested. Let's do serial killer in May.
Hunter.
Okay, I'm heading out. Thank you, everyone. I'm hoping to see everybody here again tomorrow for another fun episode. More laughs, more conversation, and yes, let's all try and be on our best behavior for a new member joining us, coming from Diana's neck of the woods.
Yay.
I'm
All right, everybody.
excited.
I'll see you all in the discords, in the clubhouses, and everywhere else that Remarkists roam.
Have a good night.
Have a
Good
good
night,
night.
everybody.
Bye.